Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Gotta readjust my chair here. Hello, we are doing a best palettes, or ranking my palettes for the month of January of this year of 2025. I did not do a palette ranking for December. I just ran into lots of obstacles and just wasn't able to do one, but we are doing it for January. I have 31 palettes for the 31 days of January. Believe me, this project palette 365 is starting to wear me down a little bit, but I am pumping right through it, and we are still doing a palette for every day of the year. So I have 31 palettes here. I have ranked them from my least favorite to my most favorite of the month. If you are interested in hearing what I have to say about each palette, then hang tight because we are getting yarded right onto it. Okay, we are starting out with probably the palettes that I will be decluttering here, because I'm trying to get my palette collection down to a smaller size here in this year. And the first palette we have for at number 31 is this Revolution palette. I found this palette at TJ Maxx. This is the Wonka Golden Ticket from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Revolution. And it looks like this. It is just kind of a boring, pinky peachy kind of palette. It doesn't go really that dark. And the shimmers are really kind of outdated for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more ethereal looking kind of shimmers in palettes today. These are really just, I don't know what you call it, just really thick, unmanageable shimmers. Really don't care for them. Really like the more topper-esque quality type shimmers that you see in modern palettes today. So I'm probably going to be decluttering that one. This one is a hard one because it was one of the first palettes I got before. The next palette is the Ace Beauty Oceanic palette. It's a beautiful palette, but I just don't foresee myself using this palette too often in like everyday situations or anything. It would make a good Instagram look or collab look, but I'm not doing those kind of looks all that often. If I am, I'm using more updated palettes. Like this palette is the Fantasy Cosmetica Cradled in Ice palette. A beautiful palette with beautiful shimmers in it. Again, this is kind of an outdated shimmer formula. This was like their original formula with very heavy shimmers. I don't know how else to describe them. It's just really heavy on your lids kind of shimmers. And I've got other palettes with these shades in them as well. This is just kind of an outdated palette, and it's really, really old, so I think I'm going to be decluttering it. Another palette I got from TJ Maxx was the Grease Pink Ladies palette. Just not really loving this color story. I was able to get a good look out of it, but I have lots of pink and red palettes that I like better. Again, not really loving the shimmers in this one too much. Don't really like that shimmer there or that shimmer. That shimmer is really nice, so I'm glad they have a light color in here. But I'm probably going to be decluttering this one too. This one's ranked kind of low, but I don't think I'll be decluttering these little 3 pans that I got from AOA. This one I liked. It made a nice little look. This is the AOA Cherry Blossom from AOA Studio. I got this from Shop Mizu. This is the Hanami palette. This one is ranked so low just because it doesn't really have a deep shade in it. But it does have 2 mattes and a shimmer That's the shimmer shade. It's more like a satin shade. I do like this color story. I do like it. I just ranked it so much lower because I wish it had a darker color in it. And at the next level, we have the Nomad Tuscany palette. I will still be keeping all my Nomad palettes. This made a pretty look. I did have to pull in. I do have a single black shade that I pull in for palettes just like this. Made a beautiful look once I brought in my, I think it's called Sagittarius. I think I got it from Shop Missy. It's just a little round black single shadow. Brought it in with this, made this look really nice. There is one kind of satin shimmer in here. This might be kind of a satin shade too, but this one I use on my lid. This one right here, this Aperitivo. Yeah, I think Aperitivo shade right here. I do love this shade right here. Very good quality. A classic from Nomad, the Tuscany, Italy palette. I don't think you can find it anymore though. I think I bought mine off the secondhand market. Okay, another from the Cherry Blossom series from AOA Studio. This one is the Hana palette. Really liked this one. Love these two shades here. I can use this. It's really a shimmer, but I can use it as a dark shade in my outer V. Really like this one a lot. Really like this one. This one's really nice. I'll probably be keeping that one, but the one I liked from the Cherry Blossom series the most this month was this, the Kaori one, because this one has the nice deep shade. Even though it is technically a shimmer, there's technically two shimmers in here. I can use this as the crease shade and then just use this on the outer, and then this one on the lid, and it makes a really perfect work look. So, and then for the next palette, I have the Naked Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet. I haven't decided if I'm going to be keeping this one or not yet. It is kind of a really old palette that I have in my collection. Oops. It makes a really pretty look. I do use this one as my outer V shade. I have so many purple palettes that it almost hurts. It almost hurts, I'm telling you what. And these are really nice, but I have like some indie purple palettes that are so much nicer than the Urban Decay Naked one, that I don't know. I think I might have used this shade in my crease, or this shade right here. This is a really nice holographic shade right here. It's great for the inner corner. But I don't know. I might archive this because this and the Naked Heat I bought when I was first starting my makeup journey. I had the OG palette forever. And then when I started buying makeup again, I bought this palette along with the Heat palette. And I don't know. There's just memories attached to this palette, you know? So I don't know if I'm going to give that one up or not. The next palette I have in my collection is and it's kind of dumb, just to keep makeup for the memories. I don't know how I really feel about that. I need to think about those feelings. Okay, next on the list we have the Amunet. Now this is from Adept Cosmetics. Now this is a beautiful palette. It's a beautiful palette, it is, but there are only two, count them, two Ooh. Oh my gosh. What do I have to say about this palette? There's only 2 mats. And I like mats. I like a lot of mats. I like to choose from a lot of mats. And I only put like 1 shimmer on my lids usually. No more than 2 shimmers on my lids when I'm using them. That's why this one's ranked so low. Not because the quality's bad or anything like that. It's nice. It's nice. Now, did I say this is the Amunet? This is the Ninhydrin. Sorry about that. To tell you the truth, they're basically the same palette. I am not a huge fan of Adept. I think they are a little pricey for what they are. And I don't think their multi-chromes are all that great. Yeah, I said what I said. So, that's why this one is ranked so low. I don't think it is all that much great. And yeah, I did choose the Tartlet. Hate that name. The Tartlet Juicy palette over it. And look at that. That's freaking boring. That is boring as heck, but it makes a really great work look. I tell you what, this one makes a really nice look. And their shimmers are just satin shades. They're nothing special. There's nothing special about this palette. In fact, I'll probably pass this palette along. I probably won't keep this palette, but it worked for what I needed it to, and it was to review it for you guys. I got it in an Ipsy icon box, I think. And now that I've used it, I know that it is good Tarte quality. I think I might have, yeah, I have another Tarte palette here. I've got another Tarte palette here that I liked a little better. It's okay Tarte quality. It's good Tarte quality, and that's what I think about it, but I don't think I'm going to keep it. The next palette I have is the Bare Necessities palette that I used. Now, this one, probably not one of my favorite of the ColourPop Mega Palette, because it is so light, and I like darker looks. I like darker looks on my lids, and this has a lot of light shades to mid-tone shades and really only 1 dark shade in it, but at least it does have the dark shade in it. Nothing special to see here in this palette. I think I have the Jeffree Star Orgy palette, and it really probably does a better job than this one does, even though the Orgy palette doesn't have any shimmers. This is like the Orgy palette with shimmers in it. And yeah, it's just, all these palettes are just okay palettes. They get the job done. They have good quality in them, but there's nothing exciting about it. Next, this one broke my heart a little bit, but I still liked it better than the previous palettes. This is the Tarte. This is their 25-year Reflections palette, and it looks like this. And I thought, oh, that is a beautiful palette. I'm gonna love that palette, but I don't. It's just okay quality. The shimmers are okay. The mattes are okay. There's nothing. It's got light, it's got mid, it's got dark, it's got everything I want in it. It's got shimmers. The shimmers work just okay. There's nothing ethereal about the shimmers at all, which is kind of what I've been looking for in a shimmer shades. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not impressed by this like I thought it would. And this palette cost a lot of money too. So I definitely do not recommend buying this unless it's on sale. At least 30 to half off. So it's pretty packaging though. So let me go get some more palettes and we can continue on. Okay, next we're getting into palettes that I really do appreciate and like. The next palette is from REM Beauty. It is from the Midnight Shadows collection. This is Midnight Snack, and this makes a really nice. We got the dark. We're getting into the dark shades now. So I really like this palette. It's got lights, it's got mid, it's got darks, and I really love a good dark blue. I don't like the pop of blue, like the bright pops of blue, but I do like a dark pop of blue, like in a palette. So this is a really nice palette. I do like the REM formula. I think it's really nice. I've got several of these little Midnight Shadow palettes. Okay, now we've got Coastal, which is a dupe for the Pink Quartz palette, I believe, from Huda Beauty. This is from Alter Ego. This makes a really nice pinky blue, pinky purple look. It does have that dark shade in there, but it makes a very nice soft look, a soft pink look. I love my pink palettes, my pinky purple, mauvey looking palettes, taupe looking palettes. So this one really speaks to me. And it does have that little jelly shadow in there that I'd poke my finger into sometimes just to see what it feels like. That's why it's got that little dent in there, but it's pretty much dried up by now. But anyway, I just like to test it for fun sometimes. I don't ever use it, but I love this shade right here and this shade right here, and I love this shade right here. It has some nice ethereal looking shimmers in it. Oh, it was very ahead of its time, I think. Very pre-Ethereal Eyes palette. Very nice palette. And this is kind of a controversial palette. It is the Planetary Divine by Cara Cosmetics. Some people can't get this palette to work for them, and I can understand why. It definitely has shades that doesn't work for every skin tone. And we have some very light lights, not a lot of midtones, and then we have some dark shades here. And then these, I would say, are some nice ethereal shimmers right here. But I was able to get a really nice pinky purple look out of it. But I will say I did get this palette for free. That doesn't necessarily skew my ranking on this. I think it's a fine palette. I think it's a nice palette. But I will admit this palette doesn't work for everybody. So there is that stipulation. Okay, the next one I have is another neutral palette. This one I think works a lot better than that Bare Necessities palette. This is from Viseart. It's from Viseart, and I just love the formula in this. This is like, I know you hear this reference a lot, but it's like butter. It really is like blending it out on your eyes. It's like blending butter, like smooth, like you got some nice room temperature butter and you're just blending it together with something, and that's what it feels like when you are blending these shades together on your eyes. It's like blending. That's what it feels like. It's just so intuitive. These shades working together, it just feels so intuitive working with these shades on your eyes, like they were meant to work together. Like it was just you and these shades were just meant to be together on your eyeball, on your eyelids. I don't know, there's just something about these shades. But it's a neutral palette, but it is definitely up there. So we've got that. And the next palette I have is the Onside Jewels and Gems palette. I think I like the Rock and Stone palette better than the Jewels and Gems palette. Yeah, the Rock and Stone has a more grungier looking color story than this one. But this one works just fine. There's nothing wrong with this one. I love their shimmers. I love Onside shimmers. They're really nice to work with. This one has more blues and purples in it. Nothing wrong with blues and purples, but I like the greens and yellows a little bit better. So, but this is a really nice formula. Really, really nice formula. Then in the next spot, I've lost count and I don't have my list here with me. So for the next one, we have the Nomad Polar Express coming at you. Very nice palette, very good. Nice palette for Nomad. They did a great job with this one. Love the reds and browns together. Love that look together. Then we have the blues. I did a blue and gold look. It was really nice together. Did a blue and white look, but I really, really love the browns. The browns and reds together. We got a multi-chrome here. But if you really like multi-chromes, I would go for the Chicago Speakeasy palette. That one is definitely one of their better palettes, but this one is a good palette. Definitely, if you are a Nomad collector, you definitely need to get on board. Get on board with this palette. You need to add it to your collection, definitely. Okay, next up we have just a very simple palette. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Ice Sculpt palette. I have used this palette for many looks. It goes above the Viseart palette because it's just so much more portable to use. So easy. Just use these 5 colors on your eyes and it works with anytime I want to use like a single shadow like my Patrick Todd duo or something like that, or that's a duo, but one of my single shadow shimmers or something like that. This works best for one of those. So this is great to just pull out. I just keep it here on my desk. It takes up very little space. So that works for that. I got the Lucky Bag this year from Beautylish, and in that Lucky Bag I got this palette. This is the Viseart Mink Set Autumn Dew palette. It makes a beautiful fall look again with this formula. It just is so intuitive. If you are like a beginner and you want to spend a little bit, you want to invest a little bit of your money into some nice shadows, I would definitely steer you toward Viseart shadows. They are just phenomenal shadows if you just want something really nice to work with. So this is a beautiful palette. Just like makes you think of pumpkin spice all over again. Like we're back in fall. We're back in fall again, baby. Now, if you're a beginner and you don't want to spend a lot of money on eyeshadows, I would suggest these Revolution Icon palettes. There's like 4 of them. This one's the Enchanted Icon. And oh baby, it made the best look. I have not even opened up these cream shadows over here, but there is a little protection shield on there. This has the ethereal shades that I'm looking for in it, and it has these matte shades down here, has the shimmer shades up here. There's 4 different colorways, and although I'm on a no-buy streak right now, if I wasn't, I would buy the rest of them. These are only like $12 hairs, and so I would say definitely go out and pick these up if you are new. If you are new and you want some quality eyeshadow palettes, Revolution is hit or miss, but these Icon palettes are definitely a hit. And I would definitely say go on those. Out of all the palettes that Natasha Denona has been cranking out lately, I would definitely say that I Need a Nude is probably one of the better ones. What is happening here? What just happened here? Okay, Natasha Denona. I haven't been drinking, I swear. Okay, Natasha, I'm talking good about you, and now you go and do something like that? Okay, these are removable magnetic pans. So if you have several of her palettes, you can like take the pans out and make your own palette. So sometimes they will pop out on you when you are saying good things about them. Okay, Natasha Denona. I Need a Nude palette is definitely one of the better palettes that she has put out over the last couple of years. Now, I personally like the Yucca palette, but this is definitely, when I'm wanting a nice cool toned look, will like to pull out this palette. It has the light shades, it has the mid-tone shades, it has the dark shades, it has some nice ethereal shimmers in it. And it's just all around a nice, when it's not popping off on you. Okay, I think we're in the top 10 now, I believe. Okay, and the next palette is the Lethal Cosmetics Wildflower palette. This is a beauty of a palette, makes a very beautiful, I love pink, purple, blue palettes. So of course I'm going to always pick those to be at the tops of my list. And of course, Lethal Cosmetics is always going to be at the tops of my list as well. Their shimmers are some of the most ethereal ones that I come across sometimes. I'm on this ethereal eyes kick, I think, with shimmers right now. Just these ones that just glow on your lids. Not necessarily a duochrome, not necessarily a multichrome, just ones that are kind of light toppers, but they just make your eyelids just pop, just totally pop. And this palette has those. And this is, again, is the Lethal Cosmetics Wildflower palette. And then we have the Pat McGrath Labs. This is the Bijou Brilliance eyeshadow palette. This is the Bronze Ecstasy palette. This makes a very nice sultry look if you are looking for it. I'm sorry, I have not swatched anything. That's because I don't want this video to be like 50 minutes long. I am trying to keep this. Let's see, we are at almost 30 minutes. I'm trying to keep this below 40 minutes long. So I'm hopefully not going to talk about each one of these palettes for more than a minute, hopefully. So this is a very nice palette from the Bijou Brilliance line. Very, I just wish it had a lighter color in there, but if you want a sultry date night look, this one is definitely for you. Love the shimmers are kind of hard shimmers, but it still makes, just if I use just one of them, and just use it lightly, it makes a really nice look. So this is a nice one, although I don't think I would travel with that one because I would be afraid it would break. Okay, I did a get ready with me look with this one. These are also magnetic and removable. If you have like more than one of the motherships, you can take them out and make your own mothership. MYOM. Make your own mothership. This is the Utopian Dream. This is the Mothership 9. This shade, oh my gosh, this shade makes the whole palette worth it. OMG. It is, okay, I gotta swatch this one. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Oh my gosh. This is the whole reason I bought this palette. And I put that on my eyes, and you have got a look. Too bad I spent most of the day in the car the day I made this look, but this palette, I think I only had 2 motherships. No, I bought more at the last sale. I just have not used them yet. But I have tried 2 motherships, and the Utopian Dream is definitely a far cry better than the Sunlit Seduction palette. Okay, on to the next palette. We have the Natasha Denona Rock Slab palette. Of course, this one's going to end up very high because we have pinks and purples again. And look, We're swatching now. We're in Swatch Town. Look, we've got one of those ethereal shades. We've got another one of those ethereal shades. Look, it's almost as good, but not quite as good as that Pat McGrath one. We've got some hard shimmers here, but we've got some really nice ethereal ones as well. Ooh boy, these two together. These two together. Love this palette. Love this palette. But if you had to get this one or the I Need a Nude palette, it just depends. It just depends on what you're looking for. I personally would go for the Roxa palette because I like some color. But if you need a nude palette, then get I Need a Nude palette. I Need a Nude. Okay, I'm just getting silly now. You'd think I had something in my drink, but I don't. It's just that time of the afternoon where I'm just feeling a little silly. Okay, next up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be number 5. Editing Jennifer is number 5. Okay, we have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, which Alter Ego does a good job of duping these palettes. I don't know if they have a dupe of this palette or not, but you really can't beat the Huda Beauty quality. You really can't beat the Huda Beauty quality in these. And I just love all the color combinations that you can do with this palette. It is just probably my favorite Huda Beauty palette. Now, I don't know. I think I like the Icy Nude one the best of them all, but this one is a clear close second because Icy Nude was like number 1 last month, or no, well I think it was last month, but y'all didn't get to see it, but I think I ranked it number 1. So anyway, this one's just a beautiful palette with a beautiful formula. Love it, love it, love it. The next palette I have up is the Trick or Treat palette. I don't know if y'all got to see me do a look with this one or not, but I love me some oranges and dark reds, and it's got the black in there. Love me a Glam Light shimmer all day, every day, any time of the week. And I think, yeah, the Garfield palette was like my favorite palette of the year last year. This reminds me a lot of the Garfield palette as well. So, of course, I'm gonna love this palette. I kind of wish Glamlight would do some more topper shades for shimmers. But, I mean, when you're doing good, you're doing good. So, why fix what's not broken? Next up, we have from Unearthly Cosmetics, the Sorceress Smoke palette, which is my definition of a beautiful grungy goodness palette. This one is just so beautiful. We've got lights, we've got midtones, we've got darks, we've got the grungy colors, we've got some oranges, we've got that dark color. I don't think that's necessarily a black, but it's like a dark green color. Love it, love it, love it. We've got, oh my gosh, this color right here, which we're gonna swallow. Oh my gosh, look at that color. Love that color on my lids. Love it, love it, love it. This is number 3. I can't say more than just I love these palettes. This formula is so good. The Unearthly Cosmetics formula is so good. Blends so well. It's very pigmented. You have to love a pigmented formula though if you're going for Unearthly Cosmetics. I mean, indie brands in general, you have to love a pigmented formula. Like I said though, if you're a beginner and you don't like pigment so much, I would definitely suggest those Icon palettes. Okay, and at number 2, I have the Unearthly Cosmetics Gargoyle palette, which, I mean, look at all these color combinations that you can do with this palette. And it is just so freaking good. And I've got to swatch this shade now that we're swatching. Okay. we're getting close to the marker that I said, oh my gosh, look at this. Multi-chrome. Love me a multi-chrome. Look at that. But just all these shades, and the look I made, I think I used like these shades along with this one right here. Love this palette. And I made another look where I think I used like these shades over here for a look. Oh my gosh, this palette, just love this color story. I think this color seems a little out of place right here, but if you're artistic enough, you can make that work. You can definitely make that work. So this is the Gargoyle palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. Love that. But my favorite look, I made it yesterday for work, was with the Fantasy Cosmetica Rogue palette. And they just put out their Monk palette, which I want to get so badly. But this palette is, oh my gosh, purple heaven. Purple heaven is the reason I think I am probably getting rid of the ultraviolet palette. Look at this color called, what is that called? Sneak Attack. I had this color on my lids yesterday, and it was just made the whole entire look. I think I said in my video I was going to tell y'all what shades I wore, and then I didn't. I used this shade, and then this shade in my inner corner. So that was the look I did with this one. It was my favorite look that I made, all month long. And those are my favorite palettes of January 2025. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have you tried any of these palettes? Would you have ranked any of these palettes lower or higher? What was your favorite palette that you used this month? I would love to know all that and more. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you are thinking. Let me know how your day is going. Let me know how you've been. Let me know all the juicy hot goss. Let me know. And then I want you to go ahead and go downstairs and hit that like button for me. Hit that thumbs up. And then share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy it as well. I would love to also have you part of our community. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, all that good stuff. Would love to see you in the next video. So good vibes to everybody out there, and I will see you next time. Okay, goodbye.